Do you ever look back at those times at school? No matter how old you are, I think we can all relate to the typical school experience. As some describe, school stands for 6 cruel hours of our lives. The world is changing rapidly, but the education system is evolving slowly. Back in the day, students did not feel passionate about what they're learning at school. Not much has changed today. In fact, the levels of student engagement have decreased further as a result of the pandemic. We may have more resources now, but the problem we faced in the past is still the same one we have today. The problem is that the education system is structured in a way that not all students are passionate about what they're learning at school. There are a few students, however, who are somehow able to enjoy their learning, while others are left disengaged and bored with school in general. Schools may have the best resources, technology, and buildings, but if some students aren't engaged in the classroom, then the education system is flawed. Why is it that some students are engaged in the classroom while others aren't? What is that hidden ingredient that these students use that others don't? The key is in how they apply their learning to the world around them. The education system needs a universal model that will help all students apply their learning and develop a passion for lifelong learning. Let's go on a journey to understand why pop culture has the power to be that universal model in the education system. Pop culture is a collection of ideas, beliefs, and practices common to the general population. Pop culture is all around us in different forms, ranging from movies and music to the latest games and devices. Pop culture has evolved over the years to shape the characteristics of a society at a given time. With new advancements in technology, pop culture is accessible now more than ever before. We live in a digital era where smartphones are the center of pop culture and information is at our fingertips. Pop culture has the ability to shape us. It's what we listen to. It's a form of expression and a representation of who we are as people in society. I view pop culture as an exciting opportunity to identify my values and connect with the world around me. Now let's take a look at school. School is an institution for teaching students. Its main purpose is to educate students and empower them to be well-rounded individuals, equipped with the right skills to navigate the society. Now, a noble purpose like this sounds amazing, doesn't it? Who wouldn't want to empower themselves with the skills to master the world's biggest problems? It's a good goal, but the truth of the matter is, the education system is not serving its full purpose. As a student, I often find myself stuck between two worlds. One that is filled with creativity, fun, and adventure, and another where stress is a daily occurrence filled with piles and piles of homework and studying topics that I even question I'll ever need in the future. Worse still, this situation is faced by many students. There are students out there who have passions and interests that inspire them to learn, but when they come to school, their creativity is not acknowledged, and the curriculum is not designed to fit their learning needs. Likewise, you have the teachers that are trying to teach all the students with the same teaching style, but it's very hard to teach everyone with the same traditional style, because what works for one person may not work for another. Now, I know what some of you are thinking. Isn't all this happening because of pop culture? Pop culture is fun. If anything, it's pausing as a distraction for students who need to be focusing on school alone. And yes, you do have a point. As you can see, we have seen a growing amount of evidence of how social media has negatively affected students. Pop culture may be a problem, but if applied differently in the education system, it can be the solution. Not all forms of pop culture are harmful to students. From my experience as a student, there are many times I have used pop culture to help enrich my learning and expand my imagination. Now, to illustrate this, I want you all to take a moment and picture yourself in a classroom, a history classroom to be specific. Now, you're in the classroom and the teacher asks and comes into the lecture room and delivers his lecture. And right before he leaves the door, he says something like this: "The test is on Friday. You must memorize all this information if you want to get that A on the test." Now, if you're someone like me, I'd definitely be so stressed out by the fact that test is on Friday and I have to memorize the whole textbook and cram all this information at one go. If anything, it feels very discouraging. Now, I did what any digital kid does, and I went on the internet and searched for resources that would help me really understand history. And as I did that, I came across Oversimplified, a YouTube channel that helps explain history in a simple and engaging manner. With its humor and its fun facts incorporated into the historical events of history, I was more engaged and more motivated to learn more about history. And I can tell you right now that that test I did really well on, because I was now more interested to learn how fun facts and interesting things that happened in history could be applied in the education system. Now, there are many other forms of pop culture that can help students apply their learning around them. Science fiction is one of the good examples. Science fiction helps create an awareness of how science and technology has helped all of us shape the world in which we live in today. Movies like Star Wars have helped us to imagine the possibility of worlds beyond us, places like Mars, Neptune, and Venus. Minecraft is another popular example of pop culture played by many students across the globe. Minecraft gives all students a virtual platform that will help them build models that will help shape the society in which we live in. It helps develop that creativity that will help them understand and apply that knowledge that they learn. Now, when you look at all these forms of pop culture, I see some things in common. All these forms of pop culture that I've just explained to you help expand imagination and develop creativity. And if you ask me one thing, it's that these are essential tools in really building that engagement and helping students develop a passion for lifelong learning. Pop culture is a tool of engagement. It's something that connects all students with a diverse range of needs, learning styles, and worldviews. By integrating pop culture into the education system, all students can realize their full potential. More importantly, they'll be able to apply their knowledge and be able to adapt to a constantly changing world. Now, I urge students, parents, and educators to rethink the education system and perhaps consider the possibility that school can actually stand for 6 cruel hours of our lives. Thank you all.